ciencia, la tecnología y la innovación y la cultura.
Science, technology, and innovation and culture must be at the core of any new development framework.
Closing day of ECOSOC's 2013 annual ministerial review called for combating poverty, tackling persistent inequalities, and building sustainable development through a single, unified, and universal post-2015 development framework.
Our expectation is that this process will result in a single global development framework that builds on the success and addresses the unfinished businesses of the MDGs.
And I think in this next agenda, it's both poverty and inequality which need to be very directly confronted and tackled in all their dimensions. That will need dedicated strategies and policies and actions. GDP growth on its own will not achieve this. The growth needs to be shared, it needs to be inclusive.
Young people, this is what's going to drive the next agenda, and it's they that are going to take the leadership, the baton, and the whole weight of carrying this forward. We'll always be there to facilitate and to reinforce because lessons have to be learned. There is history and institutional memory, but they will carry that forward, and we have a huge population. The technologies that are available for us to go across borders without even thinking about it, with a reduced footprint actually, also give us the impetus to do that.
Core messages came clear that tackling global inequalities will have to come from better democratic governance.
So the growth of inequality and the lack of fairness in growth in a large number of countries is indeed a large reason behind political instability. And I think the best way of fighting inequality is to have democratic systems to make sure that the poorest and the least advantaged have the means of voting for democratic governments.
And that African countries want to help boost progress in shaping development with one voice under the African continent.
African countries are very eager to make inputs into the formulation of the post-2015 Global Development Agenda. Because with participation in making inputs, there will be ownership. And with ownership, there will be commitment. And with commitment, of course, there will be a more motivated, more keen implementation, and therefore higher chances of success.
Advising on the need for economic transformation while asserting time and again the increasingly important role of ECOSOC in facilitating the cooperative post-2015 process.
Those who hold the power are those who have been empowered after World War II to hold that power, and they're not ready to share it. So we are looking ahead for times that will be interesting but also difficult, because every time you have a shift of economy, a new financial system, somebody will have to give up some prerogatives.
Tackling the social, economic, and environmental pillars of sustainable development means lifting the over 1 billion people who go hungry every day out of extreme poverty, transforming the real economy and making financial systems more transparent while combating the multiple causes of environmental destruction through greater political will and partnerships, ensuring that no one is left behind.
This agenda must put in place a strategy which promotes inclusive growth, promoting job creation, guaranteeing sustainability of the environment. This is exactly what ECOSOC must achieve through balanced integration of the three dimensions of sustainable development, so that the mandate set down in the final document of Rio Plus 20 becomes a reality.
The 2013 theme of science, technology, innovation, and the potential of culture for promoting sustainable development and achieving the Millennium Development Goals produced newfound momentum for the future we want. On this closing day of the high-level segment, the president of ECOSOC has suspended the closing session and is now in consultations, hoping to adopt the expected ministerial declaration in the next few hours, if not within the next few days. This concludes our special coverage by South News of the annual ministerial review. I'm Afaf Kanja for South News, reporting from the Palais du Nation in Geneva.